Hi, this is Ken and Michelle Bass.
And you're listening to the Resilient Parenting Podcast.
Well, here we are once again doing one of these clever intros to whatever we're supposed to be talking about in the episode.
You're supposed to do it without telling everyone what we're doing. That makes it
Pretend
clever.
I didn't say anything about that. But I do know I'm very excited about the fact that I've always wanted to be in a mini-series.
Since when?
Since about 20 seconds ago when we started this.
Wow, that's so clever of you.
Well,
Why would you bring that up, Ken?
Oh, I don't know. Why would we bring that up, Michelle?
Perhaps because we're going to have our very first 5-part series.
Yes.
Starting with the episode today.
And that starts in just a moment.
Hello, we are so excited. We are joined by Kim Hemmert, the grants manager from the Idaho Children's Trust Fund, and also an early childhood educator and fellow social worker. So thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad that we could do this again.
We didn't do it right the first time?
No, you did. Absolutely.
You liked it so much you had to come back for more.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. We've actually had listeners who really have loved the episode on play. And so we wanted to dive a little deeper into each stage of play. And you have for us today 1 through 5, but actually not today because it's something even extra special. It's going to be a 5-part series.
Oh,
dun,
wow.
Dun, dun.
Do we have coming up on the next episode?
Ooh, we should.
Cliffhangers, things like that?
Oh. Well, maybe not. 'Cause
Teasers?
here's what's coming up when they're 2. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, well, we're doing one episode today.
Yes,
right
one
now.
Episode today, but it's going to be a 5-part series. So, and you're going to focus, the 5-part series is going to focus on age 1 to 5.
Yes. So the first part of the series is actually 0 to 1.
Oh.
So we're going to cover all the newborn necessities of development and how to engage with your newborn up to age 1.
All right. So if you have a newborn or you're going to have a newborn or
maybe someday you think you might have a newborn.
Or you're babysitting or
Yeah. Maybe you have a grandchild
Yes.
or a neighbor or you're in childcare and you have newborns. There's lots of newborns, babies born every day.
Yeah.
And what a great gift to give this free podcast to one of those as well as learning for yourself. So let's get going on it.
All right. So the biggest frame that we want to start with is the 4 developmental domains that we're going to talk about, which are physical development, cognitive development, social and emotional development, and language development. And you think, well, newborns don't talk. They don't have language, but they do. And the way that newborns up to age 1 are talking is through sounds that they make, through cries that they're doing. Babies cry. And that's how they communicate. They don't have the language that we do, but they communicate through crying. And so understanding what that crying means, how to address the crying, how to self-soothe during when babies are crying, and meeting the needs of those cries. Is it because they're hungry? Is it because they're tired? Is it because they just want to be snuggled? What does the crying mean? Is it that they're cold? Is it they're hot? Is it that they have an ear infection and they're in pain in some way? There's a lot of things that crying can mean, and oftentimes parents can be frustrated because they don't know. They want to do what's best by their child, and they want to make sure that their child is happy, healthy, and safe. And it's hard. It's hard to know what the crying means.
Right. I remember, this is bringing it back away. Our baby is going to be 17 in a couple weeks, but I remember kind of going through the checklist of like, check this, check this, check this. And sometimes it was just a cuddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skin to skin contact with infants is really important because it helps develop that bond between child, baby, and Skin to skin contact is really important between baby and caregiver, whether it's a parent caregiver, whether it's a grandparent, whether it's a child care provider. That skin to skin contact helps that baby know that they're safe, that they're loved, that they have that attachment bonding going on.
Well, there's other audio signals too besides the crying, right? From a baby, like maybe the cooing, the gurgling, or
as they get older, they definitely develop some of that cooing, and it'll start as vowel sounds. So one way that parents and caregivers can engage is by mimicking those sounds back. So if babies are ooh, like they just make sounds because they're discovering their own voice and what it sounds like.
I still do that.
Yes, you do. True story. Sometimes the baby was mimicking you.
Yeah, true.
Mimicking or making fun of.
Babies don't know how to point yet. Come on.
So a great way that parents and caregivers can engage with babies in that language development is demonstrating those sounds. Babies are looking at your facial expression and looking at your mouth and what your mouth is doing. So your mouth makes a different sound, makes a different shape when you're making an ooh sound versus an ah sound versus an I sound, and they're all vowel sounds. So they're going to mimic that. They're going to see that and then do it back to you. So that's again another way to develop that attachment relationship of engaging intentionally with eye contact and mimicking those sounds back and forth.
Can we talk a little bit about the eye contact? Because I know newborns can only see so far.
Yeah.
And it's by design.
Right,
Yes.
Right.
Can you explain a little bit more about that? And then through 0 to 1, like, because that contact, like you're talking about, is super important.
Yeah. So babies can see about 12 inches. And then as their ocular vision improves and develops, then they're able to see further away and more depth. So as vision develops, then babies are able to see more of what their world is and recognize that they want to engage more with the world, that the world is beyond 12 inches around them. And so like that face-to-face contact with parents and caregivers is really important because that's what babies are seeing, and that's how they're developing their worldview is right in front of their face.
And that just shows how important the role of the caregiver is, because their whole world is you. And I would make a plug to put the phone down and to actually engage with that eye contact.
Absolutely, 100%. We as humans are social creatures, and so babies want to engage with the world. They want to be social with you. They're looking for what those facial cues are. They're looking for how to respond, that serve and return. So being able to smile, baby's going to learn how to smile back, and then you can smile at them. You're cooing at them, they're cooing back at you. Then, it evolves into babbling. So then they're going to add consonant sounds, and that's when you get babies that are like da 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 da.
See, it wasn't on purpose. It was just the development.
Yeah.
They didn't get quite to ma ma ma.
Yeah. Da-da is an internal mouth sound.
Sorry, dads. Okay.
Sorry. And the M sound is a lip sound, which comes a little bit later. So congratulations to all the babies that can make M sounds first, but also it's typical that it happens a little bit later.
And don't they also, you were talking about smiling, reacting to that, don't they also react to the frowns or the upset look that the parent might have?
Yeah, or even like a blank stare look. If a baby is trying to engage with you and like pointing or touching or reaching out to you, and you are disengaged and have no facial expression at all, it's distressing to a baby because they're like, wait, I thought this was a safe place and you're not even engaged.
I saw a video of that, and they did an experiment to see it with a parent who was engaging and then one that didn't have any facial expressions. It was so sad to watch. The baby got so upset because the parent wasn't acknowledging them or connecting with them. And the baby ended up getting really distressed.
Right.
And crying.
Yeah. We could probably put that link in.
That's a good idea.
To the video. That was really important piece of science and research, actually, because it demonstrates how in tuned babies are with their caregiver. And when you disengage, they feel that like it is a stress to their nervous system, and are trying to get parents and caregivers to re-engage. They want to feel like they matter. Like, hey, come back and play with me.
Their survival depends on that person caring for them.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the other developmental domains is cognitive abilities. And within the first year, babies are going to start recognizing faces, familiar faces. Who is constant and consistent in their world? Do they go to the same childcare provider every day? Do they have the same babysitter every week? Do they go to the library and see the same librarian? They're going to start to recognize those faces and start to have preferences for who they want to be around and who they like to be around, based on those interactions. Playing peekaboo is a great way to develop some of those object permanence techniques and things of like that I exist even if you can't see me anymore. So if I hide my face, I'm not there, but playing peekaboo, then I'm re-engaging and showing you that I'm still here. I'm still consistent. I still exist even if you can't see me.
Right. Right. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yes.
And kids like repetition.
Yes.
We will find that at most all stages of development that kids like repetition.
We've done it with the kids. We've done it with the grandkids. It's just like, it's a good laugh getter.
Yeah, exactly. Kids want to know that their world is consistent and reliable. Adults do too.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
we do.
So we talked about social and emotional in attachment, like building those attachment relationships and just being able to love on babies. You cannot have enough love and enough care from all providers in your world.
Right.
And so the more babies can feel that sense of love and attachment with all of their care providers, the better able they are to self-regulate when they're in distress, when they're having either crying or when their needs are not met, that they know that their caretakers are consistent and reliable and that their needs are going to be met.
Right.
So this may be a hot topic, but do you have any thoughts about letting the baby cry it out?
I was just thinking that very same thing.
Oh, or
Yeah.
I heard if you pick up the child, you're spoiling them. And I said, I always would say you can't spoil a child, a baby. But I'm just curious what you say.
I would agree that you cannot spoil a baby. A baby needs to know that they are loved and that their caregivers are consistent. I understand that it is a hot topic and controversial with a cry it out method. And I would say that is a personal decision for parents to make, at what stage in, 0 to 1, that would be appropriate for them. I think that is a personal decision that parents should make.
I'm sorry, but after 10 seconds, I'm going in.
There you go.
That is a personal decision. I personally would cry with them.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Okay, so you do you, boo. And yeah, just keep up.
Well, and if we're talking about crying also, one thing to remember is like if you as the caregiver are doing all that you can to soothe this child and recognize in yourself that you're getting triggered or your nervous system is activated or you are so stressed out and at your wit's end, then the best thing to do is to put the baby down in a safe place and go take care of yourself and soothe yourself and go be able to calm down. Make sure the baby's safe and then be able to go and take care of yourself so that you can then re-engage in soothing a baby without losing your mind.
It's
So
the old
true.
adage what they tell you on the airplane, put the oxygen mask over yourself before you
Right.
do anybody else.
Yeah. And it's true. Like you're going to be a more effective parent if you're able to take care of yourself than if you're so stressed out and you don't know what else to do. Like who are your friends and social connections that can help if your baby just won't stop crying?
Right.
What can you do to make sure that you are calm and patient so that there is there's no injury? The Idaho Children's Trust Fund actually has a crying baby plan, which goes through the steps of have we met the baby's needs and
Handy brochure.
There's a handy brochure. The crying baby plan goes through, having a plan for when my baby cries. So being able to meet the physical needs, and then some calming and soothing techniques, and then being able to calm and soothe myself. And then who are my extra supports that can help if I can't get my baby to stop crying?
Right.
At what point is it a concern?
And at what point should you maybe seek medical advice or guidance?
Yeah.
Just to see if there's a medical reason for the crying?
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of those parents out there who have colicky babies. And I believe I was one.
Yeah.
Or the ear infection, that thing too. Like
Yeah. There's an ear infection. Oftentimes I've thought when I had a newborn and they're crying, I would think, okay, do you have an itch? Like, where is your body itchy? And so I'm like trying to like scratch. Because if you have an itch on your back, a baby has an itch on their back, how are they going to get it? They can't.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
So
I
you
never
mentioned
thought about that.
We had the handy dandy brochure for
Yes.
the Idaho Children's Trust Fund, but there is also a link we're going to be putting in, right?
And it's on the website too.
On the website,
This is a really big part of the Idaho Children's Trust Fund.
Yeah, this is our initiative to prevent abusive head trauma, formerly known as shaken baby syndrome, but just going through the steps of how to address crying and at what point do we need to seek additional intervention, because maybe there's an injury, maybe they have an itch, maybe they have an ear infection. What else is going on that we're missing.
Right.
So physical development is a big part of 0 to 1, because babies are learning how to use their big motor skills, their gross motor skills, and their fine motor skills.
Right.
So having lots of opportunities for babies to be on their tummies and have tummy time helps develop that neck strength. It helps develop that back strength. It helps develop all of those muscles to be able to roll over, to turn. Parents and caregivers can engage in some of that physical development by like moving the legs back and forth. You see parents hold their babies up so that they can like put pressure on their feet to like recognize that you're more than just a head or a body, but that you have limbs too. And these are what your limbs do. This is a personal story from my own kiddo.
Ooh, personal story.
When my little, who is now 13, they just turned 13, but when my little was a baby, he did not like to put pressure on his feet. So I would try and stand him up on my lap and he would just crumple. And so we would affectionately call him Crumple Stiltskin, because he just would not put pressure on his feet. So we had to come up with other ways of trying to engage those large motor skills. So we'd put him on his back and then like pretend like he's running with his legs and move his legs back and forth so that he would develop some of those muscle skills and not be Crumple Stiltskin.
Oh my goodness, that is so cute.
And evidently it worked.
Now he's a long, lean 13.
Look at that. There's no guarantee they're going to end up growing their legs longer if you do this. I should put a disclaimer in.
Very accurate. Very accurate.
When you were talking about limbs, I was also thinking about how everything goes, that fine motor, everything goes in the mouth.
Yes, that is very typical for development in 0 to 1. Babies cry and babies put things in their mouth. They want to explore their world, and the best way that they know how is by putting it in their mouth.
Yep.
What does this taste like? What is the texture? What is the temperature? All of those things. So being able to ensure that your environment is safe and the things that they're putting in their mouth are clean ish, or at least can be cleaned. You can't always control what goes in their mouth.
No 5-second on the floor rule.
It just depends.
Okay.
Oh goodness, so many things I can think of that my kids have put in their mouth, but
yeah, and that's very typical. It's very typical for development at that stage of the game.
What would be any resources that you can think of? I know we talked about the Idaho Children's Trust Fund. Anything that parents can do right now to get more information?
Yeah. Some of the resources would be, there is an ages and stages questionnaire that goes through these domains of development and where your child is on the developmental spectrum.
Okay.
If there's concern for development delays or just concerns for development, it would be a conversation you'd want to have with your pediatrician, nurse practitioner, parents as teachers. If you have a home visitor, Head Start and early Head Start. Do the ages and stages questionnaire for developmental screening.
Okay.
There's also the infant toddler program, which assists and supports development for children with developmental delays.
So these resources, are they available across the state of Idaho?
They are available across the state.
Okay, perfect. Well, I miss this age, and some of what we talked about, I remember not getting a lot of sleep, but lots of cuddles, and it was a time that I will never forget, and I treasured.
Mm-hmm. It was a great time, yeah. And this is wrapping up the first of our 5-part series. Next time we talk to you, what age are we going to?
We're going to be talking about 1-year-olds, 1 to 2.
Woohoo! It's really time to start baby-proofing your house.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. This podcast is brought to you by the Idaho Children's Trust Fund.